Hey, Commanders fans, ready for some news that might completely change how you see the future of our offensive line? I've got some hot info straight from the analysis of one of the most respected names in the sport, shedding light on Laremy Tunsil joining our team. Stick with me to the end of this video, because what I'm about to reveal about this trade and how it could be a masterstroke will blow your mind. And before we dive deep into this analysis, do us a favor. If you love the Commanders and want to stay up to date on everything that happens, subscribe to the channel and leave a like to strengthen our community. Okay, you know our team has had a busy week, with many important moves. One that definitely caught everyone's attention was the arrival of Laremy Tunsil. He's no ordinary player. We're talking about one of the best offensive tackles in the league, a guy with an impressive resume who's coming in to be a pillar in protecting our quarterback. The Houston Texans decided to go a different direction, but for us, this was a golden opportunity we couldn't miss. And confirmation that this might have been a genius move comes from a very reliable source. ESPN analyst Bill Barnwell, known for his in-depth data-driven analyses, thoroughly evaluated the trade that brought Tunsil to Washington. And his conclusion is extremely encouraging for all of us who root for the team. According to Barnwell, the deal we struck with the Texans for Tunsil can be considered a real steal, an incredibly favorable agreement for our team in the current league landscape. I know some of you may have seen Tunsil's penalty statistics from last season and might have been a little concerned. He did have a high number of penalties, especially for illegal formation, but Barnwell offers a perspective that significantly eases this concern. He points out that the vast majority of these penalties were concentrated in a single game, which might indicate a one-off issue, perhaps with the officiating crew in that particular game, rather than a consistent pattern of undisciplined play from the player. Furthermore, Tunsil's overall history shows that the 2024 season was an exception. He's not usually among the league leaders in penalties, and hadn't been close since 2019. This suggests that what we saw last year was an outlier, not something we should expect to consistently repeat. This analysis from Barnwell gives us more confidence that penalties won't be a chronic problem for him here in Washington, allowing his talent to shine without excessive interruptions. So what makes this trade a good deal in the eyes of an expert like Barnwell? It's the value of the contract compared to what other players at the same position are receiving. Think about it. This offseason, we saw good offensive tackles, but perhaps not with Tunsil's track record and caliber, signing contracts in the $15 million per year range or more. Tunsil, in turn, has a salary of $21 million per year in 2025 and 2026. $21 million a year might seem like a high number in absolute terms, but when you compare it to the current market for an elite offensive tackle with 5 Pro Bowl selections in his career, that value becomes extremely competitive. Barnwell argues that, considering what other players at the position are earning, having Tunsil for $21 million annually for the next 2 years is an exceptional cost-benefit. It's like getting a luxury car for the price of a mid-range model, a clear advantage for our team financially and technically. Now, you might be wondering, why did the Houston Texans decide to trade such a valuable player? Their decision, according to reports, was strategic. Coach DeMeco Ryans and the team's management in Houston were looking to rejuvenate the offensive line to build a younger, long-term protection around quarterback C.J. Stroud. And, to be fair, our team made an offer the Texans considered impossible to refuse. It was a business decision for them, but one that opened the doors for Tunsil to come to Washington. This bold strategy from our general manager, Adam Peters, didn't stop at Tunsil. He continued investing heavily in the offensive line, using the 29th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft to select Josh Conerly, another promising talent for the unit. Add that to the upgrades we made to the receiver group and the retention of key pieces in other areas, and it's easy to understand why optimism about the team's future is so high. We're assembling an explosive potential offense. Having a pass protector of Laremy Tunsil's caliber on the left side of the offensive line, the blind side of a right-handed quarterback like Jayden Daniels is priceless. He has the ability to give Daniels that crucial extra time in the pocket, those extra seconds that allow our young quarterback to calmly read the defense, find the right receiver, or even decide to use his legs to gain yards. That extra time can be the difference between a sack and a big play. If Tunsil can consistently give Jayden Daniels that breathing room in the pocket, Daniels' potential to elevate his game to a new level is simply immense. A quarterback with Daniels' skills, having elite protection, can become unstoppable. And if that scenario materializes, if Tunsil's protection is as impactful as we expect, no one in the fanbase or on the team will complain about the compensation we gave the Texans for him. The technical and strategic return will be worth every penny and every draft pick. And we can't forget that, despite already being an established player, Tunsil still has good years ahead of him. Elite offensive tackles often maintain a high level of performance even after 30. Adam Peters, in bringing in Tunsil, likely sees this not only as an immediate solution to protect Daniels, but also as a long-term investment, a player who can be a leader and a pillar of our offensive line for many future seasons, ensuring stability and quality. Of course, with the arrival of a player with Laremy Tunsil's status and contract come high expectations. The Washington fan base expects him to come in and make an immediate difference, being the elite protector he's proven to be throughout his career. But Tunsil has shown on numerous occasions that he's a player for the big moments, who doesn't shy away from pressure and delivers results when the team needs it most. It's exactly this mentality and performance that we expect to see from him in 2025 and the years to come. Now, we're going to talk about one of our stars who, believe it or not, gave the coaching staff a little work in recent practices. But don't worry, it's nothing bad. On the contrary, this story shows the level of commitment and intensity that one of our most important players is demonstrating. Stay tuned until the end, because this attitude might be exactly what our defense needs to continue being one of the best in the league. And you already know, right? If you love the Commanders, leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything. You followed last season and saw the transformation our defense had, right? Suddenly, we had a unit that commanded respect, pressured opponents, and quickly established itself as one of the NFL's strengths. Much of the success came from our defensive line, which was simply dominant in many moments of the games, creating chaos in the opposing offense and paving the way for the rest of the defense to play with more freedom and efficiency. Now, we face a new challenge, the departure of Jonathan Allen, a leader and a spectacular player who left a significant void. With this change, the responsibility falls even more on the veterans who remained, so that they not only maintain their high level of performance, but also take on an even greater leadership role within the team. And that's where our Darren Payne comes in, a name we already know well and who has the ability to carry this banner. Darren Payne, who has already been selected for the Pro Bowl, seems to have perfectly understood this mission. He's approaching off-season training, the so-called OTAs, with impressive seriousness and intensity. And when I say intensity, I mean it for real. He's dedicating himself so much in each repetition, in each exercise, that it reached a point where the coaches themselves had to intervene and ask him to slow down a bit. Payne's excessive dedication even created a funny situation, recounted by our defensive coordinator, Joe Witt. He shared a story with the press about how Payne's intensity in one practice was so high that head coach Dan Quinn was concerned. Quinn thought that maybe the coach himself was demanding too much of the players, unaware that it was Payne who was exceeding expectations and going beyond what was being asked at that specific moment. Joe Witt explained the situation, taking the blame in a way. He said he challenged the defensive line to increase intensity in a particular exercise, and Darren Payne simply embraced the challenge wholeheartedly, going all in. When Coach Quinn saw Payne's level of effort, he turned to Witt with a worried expression, thinking the practice was too strenuous. But Witt had to clarify that he was the one who gave the command, and Payne simply executed with maximum dedication. This story, despite being funny, shows how determined Darren Payne is this offseason. He knows that without Jonathan Allen next to him on the defensive line, he will not only be the focus of more attention from opposing offenses, but he also needs to be the main reference for younger players and the entire defense. He's facing this responsibility head-on, and the coaching staff is noticing and appreciating this total commitment. Joe Witt expressed his satisfaction with how Payne has responded to everything the coaching staff has asked of him. He highlighted that Payne is a leader, even if he's not the type who talks a lot. His leadership comes by example, by the way he behaves on the field and in training, by his tireless work ethic. And this year, with the change in the defensive line's composition, Payne's quiet leadership is becoming even more visible and crucial to the team's success. This leadership attitude and intensity in training are exactly what we expect from a player of Darren Payne's caliber. He's already entering his 8th season in the league and has established himself as one of the most consistent and productive interior defensive linemen in the sport. His durability is impressive, not missing a single game in the last 4 seasons, demonstrating his ability to stay healthy and available for the team. And it's not just durability that impresses. Payne's productivity also speaks for itself. In the last 4 years, he's accumulated 24 sacks, an excellent number for a defensive tackle. This shows that he's not only solid against the run, but also a constant threat to the opposing quarterback. This combination of durability, productivity, and now this clear demonstration of leadership and intensity in training leaves us very optimistic. With such a positive report coming from training camp, the expectation is that Darren Payne will not only maintain his high level of performance, but will strive to go much further this season. His dedication in training is an indication that he's ready to take on an even bigger role and be the anchor of our defensive line. If he manages to elevate his game even further and inspire his teammates, our promising defense has everything it takes to establish itself as one of the best in the NFL for many years to come. Payne's attitude in training reflects the mentality that the coaching staff and new management want to implement throughout the team: hard work, commitment, and constant self-improvement. Seeing one of our key players leading by example in this way is extremely motivating for the entire roster and for us, the fans. This creates a high-performance environment and shows that everyone is focused on achieving success next season. So, Commanders fans, this story of Darren Payne in training is another reason to believe in our team's potential for 2025. His leadership, combined with the talent of the other players on the defensive line and the tactical scheme of Joe Witt and Dan Quinn, can make this unit continue to be the engine of our defense. We're building something solid, and our players' dedication is the foundation of it all. Now, considering all this intensity from Darren Payne and the responsibility he has without Jonathan Allen by his side, the question remains, will this demonstration of leadership and grit in training be enough for him to not only maintain the level of our defensive line, but elevate it, even with the absence of such an impactful player as Allen? What do you think? Leave your opinion below in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to not miss the next videos. Thanks, fans.